Hi, Dr. Mel doing physics. We're busy with the mechanics and we are going to focus on the different forces. And remember, forces are all vectors. So let's have a look firstly at a force. We've got a force as a vector quantity. Please bear in mind when you work with vectors that you always indicate the direction. Remember, we said direction is what's defining a vector from a scalar. The first thing you have to know about a force is that it's abbreviated with an F, and make sure that it's a capital F. You will see we will use the small cap F just in a later stage. The unit that we work in is Newton. So Newton, again, a capital N that will signify the unit that we measure the force in. So this person is pulling a certain newtons in a certain direction. Right, let's carry on. The definition of a force. A force can be a push or it can be a pull. That's the official definition of a force. It can push away, so it will be a repellent. It actually repels two objects, so two different objects moving in different directions. It can also be a pull, and you usually pull towards. So it can be an attractance force, attracting the one object to the other. Now let's have a look. This person is pushing, so it's moving away. This guy is actually pulling this card. So this is the push and the pull, meaning you've got the definition of a force. There's three different forces that I'd like to show you firstly. The magnetic force. Now we find magnetic forces within magnets, and the whole definition of magnetism you'll learn somewhere in the chapter of magnetism. Now we're only focusing on the force. Remember, a magnet has a north and a south pole. And we need to know that a north will repel another north, a south will repel another south, but a north will attract a south. So we know it's a push away as well as an attract to each other, depending on the pole that it has. Electrostatic forces we find with charges. Now, you've done a little bit of electrostatics, but now we're going to see what will be the actual force. So I've got here a positive charge as well as another positive charge. And you'll see that they will repel each other. This one will move that way and that one will move that way. When I've got different charges, a negative charge and a positive charge, as with magnetism, they will then attract each other. So the force here will be repelling and this one will be attracting. So it's electrostatic forces, similar to magnetic forces. Let's go and have a look at gravitational forces. Now, gravitational forces will be between a mass and another mass. This force will always be an attraction force. That's making it a bit different to the other. The one mass will attract the other, and we usually work with Earth as one of the masses. Earth has got a mass and attracts all other masses. And you'll see in this little picture, this little lamb is jumping up. What will happen? It will fall down again. Everything that we drop from any height will always move towards Earth because gravitation is an attraction force. Right, let's have a look at the three forces again. Magnetic forces, obviously between magnets. North and north will repel, north and south will attract. And now a new concept. They don't need to be in contact with each other. You can actually put a magnet a little distance from the other and it will be working. So it's a non-contact force. The next one was the electrostatic force. Electrostatic meaning charges. And remember, you can charge something by removing electrons or adding electrons. So a positive and a positive will repel, as will a negative and a negative. A positive and a negative charge will attract each other. And again, they don't have to touch each other to exert a force. They can be a little distance away, and it is simplified as a non contact. So I've got two non contact forces that I already explained to you. The final force is the gravity. Remember the little lamb? It will fall towards Earth. It's between masses, and it's always an attraction force, and we usually work with Earth. But we can later on do Mars and Pluto and other planets or stars. But for now, it's fine to say one of the masses will be Earth and the other one will be the mass that you're working with. This is again a non contact force. Take a ball, take your pin and drop it. You don't have to touch Earth to have an attraction towards Earth. Right. Contact forces is different to non contact forces. You won't be able to push this car if you don't touch it. So we say the force that you are applying is named the applied force, and it will have a little subscript A. And now we're going to see we've got different forces, so we need to make sure that we know what we're doing. So this guy is actually working. Please have a capital A. Remember, you will accelerate the car if you apply this applied force. So make sure that you know that a force has to be in contact with the object to be an applied force. The second force is the opposite to the applied force. Just make sure you've got the applied force there. Its direction is obviously crucial, but it will find a resistance. This is like a mother-in-law. It's resisting the flow. So you'll push the car, but the tar road or the gravel or the tires, which is usually rubber, will actually exert a force in the opposite direction. This is friction. Now, again, I've got the small cap F resembling friction. Remember what we said? And the capital F, which means it's a force. So in this, we'll have the applied force being in the opposite direction than the frictional forces. Another force, that's the first time I think that you are going to meet this force, will be the normal force. Friction and applied forces you've done before, but the normal force is a new force that we are introducing, and we are actually abbreviating normal within. So what is normal about a normal force? Well, absolutely nothing. It's got a surface, and the surface will actually press against the object. So if I've got this object here, actually lying on the surface, it will actually have a gravitational force on the earth or the table in this instance. Opposite from that gravity, we will now have a normal force. And we aren't going to go into the details of these two now because we will do a few of these later in another lesson. But just for instance, on a plane or a slope, you can also see that the normal is that side. Now, what's very specific about the normal? It's perpendicular. It's got a right angle, and it's important. That angle there is 90 degrees. This angle there is 90 degrees. So make very sure that you always have a 90-degree from the slope to the object, and that will be your normal force. Right. We also have things hanging from cables or strings or whatever you detach it from. In this case here, I've got a string, and the same string is going over that pulley. So you've got the string, and this we call tension. It is actually having tension. Can you see here? There's tension in those cables. There's actually tension in that cable as well, pulling at whatever mass is down there. So tension will then be signified with the T. Make sure that you know, in this case, it's pulling upward. Here, we actually will see, let us quickly go to this one, if this whole system is going up and down. We've got tension in that part and tension in that part, and make sure that you know it will be exactly the same. But as I said just now, we will do a lot of calculations and understanding of the different forces. Finally, we have resistance. Other than friction, remember friction was the surface, we can also find air resistance. Now, for instance, this parachute guy is falling down, but this parachute is a huge surface, and you'll find the molecules of the atmosphere will actually resist that fall. And because it's upward, you'll find the friction of air actually slowing down the parachute. So I've got gravity pulling you down, that's why you're falling, but the air and everything here, and it's very light. I mean, it's not heavy molecules. They will actually resist, and that's why you are slowing down when you use a parachute, because you've got this friction of air. We also have a spring force. We don't often work with this, but no, in a spring, there's a force. If you let go, it can actually cause a lot of damage because you've got potential energy in that string. And again, it will work in different directions. The one thing that you have to make sure of is that you know which force it is, identify the force, and identify the direction. Let's have a look at the one force that you will be using right through the mechanic chapters. You have to be able to work out the gravitational force. Now, gravitation is usually the earth. Let me do that in a nice color. Let's use red. This is earth. And whatever object I have. The other word for gravitational force is weight. Now, you've done this in a previous year because we do calculate weight, but we are going to revise this quickly. We can say it's gravitational force like that, or we can say it's weight. But gravitational force is the more accepted way of expressing what? The attraction, it's towards Earth, from Earth on that specific object. It has a mass of 10 kilograms. So I've got the mass in 10 kilograms. The mass is 10 kilograms. It will be falling towards Earth. And now you can calculate that force. And this is the first actual formula that you've got to know. It will be on your information sheet. It is mass times, it's usually G. Now, I'm going to explain the G quickly. It is the gravitational acceleration. So the gravitational acceleration is the Earth pulling on this mass, accelerating. It's going faster and faster and faster. And Newton actually worked out that value because it's a constant value. So that value is 9.8 meter per second squared. So all the calculations with gravitation, you'll be multiplying the mass with a factor of 9.8, which I will explain just now again. So in this case, I've got 10 kilograms multiplied by 9.8, which will give me a gravitational force or weight. Remember, it's measured in Newton, of 98 Newton. And remember, we're working with vectors. It will always be downward. Make sure that you always have the right direction. Let us quickly have a look at this value of 9.8. It will mean if I started there with a velocity of 0, I'm dropping the ball. It will fall, and in 1 second, the velocity will be 9.8 meter per second. And the second one, it will also add another 0.8 meter per second, meaning it will now be 19.6 meter per second. So in every second, it is actually accelerating with 9.8 meter per second squared. And Newton did that. We can do that in a laboratory as well. We don't have to do that anymore. We just use this as a constant. Bear in mind that you'll do all the calculations where Earth is with gravitational force with this acceleration. So make sure that you know. Quickly, what did we do? We worked with vectors again. It's non-contact forces. Can you remind yourself what the three were? Magnetic force, gravitational force, yes, and electrostatic force. They don't really need to touch each other. The contact forces were the applied force, the frictional force, the normal force, and as we saw, there's tension and there's a few others. So you need to know the contact forces because you are going to draw diagrams with that. And then finally, if you have to calculate the gravitational force, remember you've got your mass times the factor of 9.8. I hope you enjoy working with forces. They can make a huge difference, pulling you away or pushing you away. So make sure that you always know where and how the forces are applied. Bye bye.